In a world where two friends decided to watch movies from their youth, then decided to start a podcast about it, we present to you the Movie Test of Time. A podcast about the only medium that matters, the movies. Presenting your hosts, America's sweetheart, Beth Martin, and Irish ruffian, Andy Young. Hello, that's us, your hallucinatory and noirish hosts, this week looking at Lost Highway. Beth, a pleasure as always. What's the crack?
Hi, buddy. How's your week been?
Not too bad, actually. I was immediately going to congratulate myself in pronouncing words again, and I really need to get out of the habit of that. I mean, they were tough ones.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to send me a little gold star, I would appreciate it. But
do you practice ahead of time?
No.
That's amazing.
I'm just... I think my practice is that I teach yoga, so I have to speak clearly often.
Yeah, but you know me and pronunciating things the absolutely wrong way and and feeling terrible about it, but it's I could read through my notes and I could actually phonetically write it out, Did you guys have sweet pickles as kids?
No, I don't think so.
It was a kind of hooked on phonics. Hooked
Okay.
on phonics worked for me. It's it was a sweet pickle. I have the jingle in my head. I'm not going to sing it because no one needs to hear that. Anyways, guess what?
What?
I found a lake. A lock.
Okay.
A lake.
Is it one of those secret lakes, one of those Irish myths where you've just stumbled across this grotto that nobody else has ever found before?
I mean, no, it's California, so 4,000 people have found about it before. And it's I don't, it's a lake in the next town over. It's called Lake Poway.
Okay.
So it's 21 minutes from my house, which is we don't really have water here. I mean, it's 45 minutes to the ocean, but then you have to find parking and beach space. So finding a body of water here that's within driving distance, that's not driving on the 8 to 9 lane freeway is always kind of a golden opportunity. So yeah, so I found one. I went with a friend yesterday. We had coffee. There were ducks. You can rent one of those little paddle boats where you paddle with your feet. They're not shaped like swans. That's okay. And then they have little motorboats that you can rent. And they, I think they stock it. They stock the lake with fish, so you can go fishing. But It just made me happy that there's nature here.
That rocks. Yeah. I love a body of water. It's always nice. I mean, it's one of the things that, especially because it has been nice here recently, and it's one of the odd things where it is sunny out, but it's still quite cold.
Yeah.
But it's really, because as soon as there's any sun in this country, people are well, it's shorts weather, but it's fucking cold still, but I walking the dog this morning, it's sunny day.
Were you wearing shorts?
And I wasn't actually, and I feel ashamed to admit that, but I wasn't actually wearing shorts yet. But just looking down over the loch that's close to my town, and it was it's lovely, it's nice seeing a big body of water. It's lovely.
Well, and I didn't believe my friend because I went to the San Diego River once, and it's sometimes there's no water at all in the San Diego frickin' River, so. I just don't think that those things exist. And so it was just weird to be turn the corner, there's a lake right there and it's full of water. And I think it's a reservoir, so they blah blah blah. But anyways, it's just yay.
That's lovely.
So yeah. So next time you come,
nice.
We're gonna take that weird boat where you paddle with your feet. Yep.
Paddle boat, like a swan boat or something. So yeah, what have I been doing since the last I spoke to you? Oh, I know what I did. I went to see... So, do you know the movie Akira?
Yeah. I know the graphic novel Akira.
Yeah, even better. So,
better.
Akira, it is even better. I mean, I think the movie's great too, but the comic's just exceptional. So, the movie has had a remaster. It's been re-released in cinemas. So, I went to see that at the weekend. It was really lovely to see in the cinema. I don't think I've seen it in the cinema before. Certainly, the first time I would have encountered it would have been on a VHS tape, when I was a kid. And it's interesting seeing it again. It occurred to me, I thought I had seen it fairly recently, but kind of rewatching it makes me, you know, I realized that I haven't probably watched it in like 20 years, and it was kind of really good. I think it was, I remember at the time finding it a little bit, messy is the wrong word, like, you know, the structure felt a wee bit rushed and things like that, and like it felt like I was missing things. But I think maybe because I've read the comics since then, that it really did feel like such a really kind of cool, complete experience. And you know, I kind of love seeing, like, you know, a really good anime is hard to beat, in my opinion. So it was lovely, and it was just, they've done a really excellent job with the remaster. It looks spectacular.
That's amazing.
So yeah,
I
really
love
nice.
the fact that they're doing all the re-releases of,
Yeah.
you know, like Back to the Future. You can get like the popcorn bucket that's shaped like a DeLorean. That's the new thing we're getting here, the popcorn buckets. So Mike spent,
I know a little bit about this.
he spent $45 on a Yoshi popcorn bucket that's like literally, it's like 2 feet tall, and he didn't tell Charles he was going to do it, so he came in, you know, walking in the theater. Charles was just like, what? I was like,
Amazing.
Yeah, so $45.
I need to, like, okay, I'm not going to make you get it now, but I need to see this next time. I was actually, you know, watching it, and I was thinking, because I wanted to talk to you about it this week. I was like going to ask you like what your sort of like experience with anime was whenever you were like, did you like watch any when you were a kid? Was there any stuff that like was of particular interest to you?
Probably. I mean, I was into Akira. I was into Grendel.
Yeah.
Like Dark Horse Comics was like it was like right across the river from where I lived, so it was like.
Oh wow! Okay,
yeah,
of course.
It was cool. Like they ended up moving or like being bought out by somebody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just like knowing they were like right there and just like walking by the building felt really good. Those are the ones that I really remember. And it was like.
I suppose specifically I'm wondering about like animated movies and things like that. Would you have watched any of those or not so much? Mostly comics.
Probably just comics.
Mm-hmm.
Unless there was like a guy that I had a crush on who was like, you know, who was like, I'm really into.
He was like, come watch Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, like, I did watch Ghost in the Shell. You know.
Yeah.
That's how I got into like Tattoo the Iron Man. That wasn't a guy that I should have dated, obviously.
that movie is intense. It's an intense series of movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, I forgot the Dark Horse was up in that neck of the woods because, like, you know, obviously, like they have a lot. You know, they published Hellboy, which is, you know, one of my all-time favorites, and things like that. And they've had a lot of like cool series in their lifespan. Yeah, that rocks. Any other?
I'll think about it though, because like we could do a month on anime.
An anime month? Oh, that's a good idea.
I know, right?
Me
and my big brain full of ideas.
Smart. Oh, I have a dog barking outside my door. I can't hear it. That could be a problem. It's fine. We'll figure it out. So, one last thing was, so speaking of dogs, she's had her summer do. She had her hair did.
Oh, good.
She's looking good. So like near the end of Sasha's, like, you know, when her hair's been grown out and it's been getting long, she's got a real kind of dark brown period where her hair is just like, it's insane. It's like just shooting out in different directions. Very cute, of course, but now she just looks like a big puffball. It's
like, do you remember in Wayne's World when like Garth's dog comes in and like he's got the same hair as Garth, and he's like a border collie, but he's got like the hair with the mullet, and like Sasha reminds me of that a little bit.
It's true. We do have similar styles, fashion, and coloring,
and also like, you know, that could be your Halloween costume right there. Right, because you've got the hair, and you just put the hat on, and then you're set, and you know she's got the hair already, and you can just put those little, you know, bracelets with the little pointy things. You know, those anarchist bracelets, and there you're set. She'd only be mildly annoyed.
Only mildly annoyed. She doesn't mind. As long as things don't go on her head, she'll basically put up with whatever. Like, clothing-wise, she just doesn't really care, but she doesn't like things in her head. So I respect that. Okay. So, Beth, do you have any more crack for us, or shall we move on to what's occurring?
We can move on to what's occurring. Okay, I have a long one. So we asked people about, because not Valentine's Day. Sorry, everyone. What year is it?
What year is this?
What year is this? Right? It was April Fool's a couple weeks ago, and so we asked people to send in April Fool's jokes. So this is from our top fan. I'm going to read it verbatim, hopefully, and not interject too much of my own thoughts into it. Here we go. Ready? So about 13 years ago, after our first child was born in September of the previous year, we were still living in South Korea. I decided to use the power of social media for April Fools. My targets were what Americans would call their boomer relatives, basically your parents, aunts, and uncles, who were so credulous and over-earnest that they tended to believe and share any old white shite they saw on Facebook and elsewhere. I put out a post worded very sincerely to thank everyone for their support as our baby son was due to have a surgical procedure. Now, I knew that if I said something like, for a hole in his heart or a kidney problem, etc., that would be far too fucked up and cruel on account of how plausible it would have to appear. So I deliberately chose something ridiculous enough that I figured most people would realize I was just kidding. So I said he was due to have surgery to remove his vestigial tail.
Oh.
Then, to ensure nobody felt too cruelly hoodwinked, I followed up with a comment about how I would miss how he wiggled his tail when he was happy, totally riffing on Jason Alexander's character at the end of Shallow Hal. Most of my friends who read this realized it was a joke and had a good time, and I got the requisite clicks and likes for my own dopamine validation purposes. But then the fun really began. A close friend of mine who loves to take the piss out of people sincerely fell for it, and that was thoroughly annoyed to discover that he'd been had afterwards. He complained in the comments for about 2 additional days after the initial prank dropped. Much to my deep, glorious satisfaction, how could you? Your own son! And led me into dubbing the entire controversy Tailgate. Thanks to his reaction, I've never topped that prank since.
I wasn't like on Facebook enough to like fully be there for the extent of that, but I do remember it happening. Either it happening or him telling me about it afterwards. It was so funny. Really amazing stuff.
Okay, and I apologize if I said vestigial tail incorrectly.
No, I think that's correct.
Right, I tried.
I'm gonna say the thing, and I've lifted this from somebody else. That is, language is descriptive, not prescriptive, and I think people understand what you're saying, and that's all that matters. Yeah. Anybody who's like, actually, the correct way to pronounce this is blah blah blah. Yeah. They're the ones who suck.
I had
in my opinion,
I had a guy do that at work once. We use the term verbiage all the time, and like he was kind of like a chill guy. Like one day he snapped in a meeting. He was like, "I can't take it anymore. Verbiage is not a word. It's text. You can't say verbiage." And we were all like, and you know. I don't actually know if he was correct or not, but he writes books now, so.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sure they're really chill books. I have something as well, which was that I've talked to Beth about this off pod a little bit. So I have been trying, and I continue to try to do this, which is to try to make the sound quality better for all of you listening at home. I think that having a pleasurable listening experience is, such a core component of listening to a podcast. I have made some more changes over the past couple of months. I feel like, or the past couple of weeks, I should say. So I feel like hopefully you're noticing that already. If not, maybe listening a little bit more in this episode. I'm really making more of an effort to make this sound cleaner and smoother and more pleasurable. So hopefully that's working. And you can let me know if you've got any feedback and things like that.
Yeah, no, thank you. And it's funny, I was listening to some of our like older podcasts, and like, we're just slowly getting better and hopefully honing in on our craft. But yeah, if you've got any suggestions about anything, dear listeners, we want to always know. And like a lot of times we just I speed through things so much sometimes, and I'm like, I didn't even know that I forgot to adjust my volume that day.
I would also say this only really applies to the audio version as well. The video version, you know what? You're
on your own.
Fire.
You're on your own.
You're on your own.
Yeah, watch Andy put lotion on his face.
Exactly. I mean, maybe that's what you're there for, you sicko.
Right.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. Do you have any more what's occurring for us, or should we move on to our topic?
I have a clarification.
Okay.
So in the Thin Red Line episode, I mentioned that Meg Ryan was in Black Hawk Down. That was not correct. She was in Courage Under Fire with
okay.
Matt Damon when he ate like a potato a day and got down to like 2 pounds or whatever. And everyone was like, my God, how'd you do that? He was like, ate potato. I was like, that's an Irish diet. Anyways.
Was there who was there a female cast member in Black Hawk Down, or was it just all dudes? I'm just looking at the cast now and it looks like it's just all dudes.
Yeah.
Oh, Kate Beckinsale probably in a fairly small role. Wow, but that's a lot of guys. It's a lot of facial hair. It's alright. Okay, it's fine. Interesting.
It's a lot of facial hair.
Are we ready to move on?
We are ready.
Are you ready to move on to this week's
be aggressive.
topic?
Yeah. Yep.
So, it is week 3 of our Patricia Arquette season, and we are looking at Lost Highway, which is one I've wanted to revisit for a while. I've been thinking a lot about David Lynch and how I would feel about rewatching his movies again now that I think my tastes have kind of matured a little bit more.
Now that you've seen Twin Peaks.
That I've seen Twin Peaks, exactly. Now that I've seen Twin Peaks especially, but like even at the time, I would have seen this in the cinema.
Yeah.
This might have been the first time I saw a David Lynch film in the cinema. And I remember like enjoying it, but also being like, what the hell is this? I don't understand what's going on. So yeah, it was good to kind of revisit it in that regard. Excuse me. But I thought it was definitely. I definitely got a little bit more. I got what I was trying to say. The direction. I think as much as David Lynch's films, as you can ever really interpret David Lynch's films, I think I got a better handle on it this time than I did last time I watched it.
Yeah, I feel like this would have been like one of those movies that I would have been like, let's all smoke a bunch of weed and watch David, like, yeah, and then just be like, you don't understand it because you're inebriated or whatever, and then it's okay.
But the secret is that even if you do it completely sober, you're like, what?
And it's just as fucked up and not uninteresting, but like I also watched it with a little bit of a different eye. And it's like, I remember this like period of like, you know, I tried to watch Twin Peaks, but it was like, I was a little young. And like my sister was super into it. She's 4 years older. And then like Fire Walk With Me came out. The book, like, is it Laura Palmer? That's her name. I'm blanking.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. So Laura Palmer's Diary, the book came out. Like that was a big deal. I remember like reading that. But like just the first few like scenes with Bill Pullman and Patricia Arquette and like him being weird and she's being weird, I was just like, yeah, if your boyfriend is acting like that, like get the fuck out. Get the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah,
not
he's kind of an intense dude.
He's just too intense. I'm like, he's gonna murder you and I like I've seen this, so I know what's gonna happen. But like, the signs are all there, girl. Get the fuck out.
Yeah,
I'm not even. Gonna,
there was an intensity to him that was unsettling. Nobody should be in a relationship with that character, I think. And also, whenever like it cut to him in the club, one of the things I actually wrote was, "Oh, he's one of those saxophone players."
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah, I know. And then you can live somewhere in like the Hollywood Hills playing the saxophone in the evenings, like.
In like a kind of Art Deco-y sort of house. Yeah, it's like, I don't know about this one.
No. That looked either Hollywood Hills or like Mulholland Drive. Clearly David Lynch loves that part of LA.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a quick, since you're talking about saxophones, so the character's name is Fred Madison. He's a saxophonist. Apparently pays his rent or owns a home. That way. Is accused under mysterious circumstances of murdering his wife Renee. On death row, he inexplicably morphs into a young man named Pete Dayton, leading a completely different life. When Pete is released, his and Fred, their paths begin to cross in surreal and suspenseful. What is my blat? Suspenseful. Red leather, yellow leather, chartreuse leather, puce leather. Please, sorry. Okay. Cross in a surreal, suspenseful web of intrigue orchestrated by a shady gangster boss named Dick Laurent. Doesn't really give you any information about what you're actually seeing, but but there you have it.
He's a wee bit fever dreamish. Like it's a kind of a movie of two halves in that, like, essentially it's about this guy, as we talked about, this kind of intense sexophonist and his wife, and then sort of strange shit starts happening to them, and she ends up dead, and he is kind of arrested for this, and then he goes into like this sort of transformation.
Yeah. Where he becomes Balthazar Getty.
Yeah.
The Getty fortune and the Getty Museum. I didn't make that connection until this, because I looked up a picture of him.
It's whenever he was third, but I kind of forgot he was in this. I think I had thought it was Justin Theroux for sure, but I think he's in one of Lynch's latter movies, and I was like, oh yeah, Balthazar Getty. He had kind of a career for a minute or two, but like he's in this quite a bit, but yeah, very interesting. Like it is kind of a really kind of star-studded cast.
It is.
Like a lot of them don't have very much to do, but like some of them are like Giovanni Ribisi, for example, just kind of like pops up for a scene and is never seen again.
Richard Pryor? I was like, what the fuck? Also, that was his last movie. It was this. And he's like, clearly, like, he's, he had a stroke or whatever. Or no, did he have...
I think he did have a stroke or a heart attack or something like that.
I feel like he had, like, Parkinson's, too, or something. And,
He did.
Don't do drugs, kids. But, but do comedy, just... You don't need to do all the drugs.
Well, and also Richard Pryor did like Olympic levels of drugs as well.
He did. He absolutely did. But he was like in a wheelchair, but he was there, and he was like, it was like, oh man, and he stole the scene.
He did. He was so nice to see him, and also things like Gary Busey briefly, and like again, he had a little bit more to do, but like not much. Also like Henry Rollins in the background.
Yes.
Just. Wild.
He's kind of like also Flea. He just kind of pops up in things.
He does. Yeah. I think that is a good comparison. Yeah. I mean, like, I like Rollins more, but I like Flea too. He's nice, but like, yeah, they have that similar sort of energy, I think. Also, in less exciting news, Marilyn Manson pops up.
Yeah, I said Twiggy. I was like, is the Marilyn? Yeah,
there he is.
There he is. And we'll talk about Robert Blake, because that's a whole nother. So
Absolutely.
Robert Blake, plays kind of like this spooky character that.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I didn't realize that was Robert Blake, because I know who Robert Blake is. And I didn't make that connection. That's not because Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
We'll get to it. All right. So, director of this movie was David Lynch. Hard to understate how important he is. One of the most influential filmmakers of all time. Like a true iconoclast. He kind of redefined what movies could be, like structurally, both how they were like filmed, like how music was used. Like his style is so influential that the term Lynchian is often used to describe other movies that are like in this sort of realm.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, Lynchian is like commonly used for like surreal films, which is just such a great term, and it really kind of gets you there in terms of like, oh, okay, I know how I should at least try to like absorb this movie. So he's a huge body of work. Probably most notably Twin Peaks. I mean, he has like a few huge movies as well, but was an enormous kind of cultural and sort of critical juggernaut, at least for a while. But also he is a huge practitioner and supporter of transcendental meditation as well.
I know.
Which is very cool. I think I talked a little bit before about going on a yoga retreat a few years ago, and the lady who ran the centre had like a photograph of her, David Lynch, and I was like, wow, where how did you get that? And she goes, well, I'm really into transcendental meditation. He was at a conference I got my picture taken with him. He was really lovely.
So cool.
You know.
I do transcendental meditation every day. Gold
Love
star.
it.
Someone gives me a gold star.
Yeah, you deserve it.
That's great.
That's
Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. If it's good enough for David Lynch, man.
This is so true. So yeah, like it, you know, it is. If you don't know who Lynch is, it's worth looking into his movies. He has some very interesting works in there, but he is a director I could probably talk about for a long time.
Yeah. So David Lynch wrote this movie in conjunction with a gentleman named Barry Gifford, who also wrote Wild at Heart. He's still kind of writing and doing things and getting things produced every few years. David Lynch unfortunately passed away last year. So
yes, he did.
May he rest in peace, rest in power, rest in whatever universe he's in. Because I'd be curious to know where David Lynch goes when he dies, you know? Anyways, so it was, so this was his first feature after Twin Peaks, and so I guess this is my bad. So Fire Walk With Me, Twin Peaks came out as a prequel in 92 to Twin Peaks, which came out, well, yeah, in like, it doesn't matter. So he came across the phrase Lost Highway in the book Night People by Barry Gifford. So that's that connection. Who's the other writer of this screenplay? As Lynch knew Gifford well, and he had previously adapted his novel Wild at Heart in a film of the same name. He told Gifford that he loved the phrase as the title for any film, a film, and so they decided to we'll write something starting with a name, which I thought was an interesting way to do things. So they each had their own ideas of what it should be, but then they ended up shooting Fire Walk With Me. But as he was doing that, he was thinking about videotapes and a couple in crisis, and apparently, he has this thing about how he hates camcorders, so this is camcorders are a big part of this film. So the idea would develop into the first part of the film. Until Fred is put on death row, and then some kind of transformation has to occur. So it's basically they put two different movies together, kind of like Tarantino, but I think he came first. It took them 1 month to finish the script. So something interesting, because I'm always where do you get in? Where did the inspiration from this come from? The O.J. Simpson trial. And Simpson's ability to return to his normal life after. So the scene where the scene where Fred hears the words "Dick Laurent is dead" over the intercom actually happened to Lynch at his own house. So he doesn't know who it was, but he put it in the movie because, he ended up that whole scene was his actual house, and he wanted that whole thing to happen there. So unlike the sinister nature of the scene in the film, Lynch assumed that the stranger who left the message on his intercom had simply mistaken his house for that of the actor David Lander, who lived next door. Lynch said that the idea of the mystery man, played by Robert Blake, came out of a feeling of a man who, whether or not, gave the impression that he was supernatural.
Amazing.
I know.
That rocks.
Yeah. O.J. Simpson strikes again.
What hasn't he influenced? Because I did. I have to say, after watching it as well, I was kind of reading a little bit about interpretations of what is going on there and things like that. I just thought it was interesting. I think the kind of most sort of straightforward one is it's about a guy who murders his wife, and then the psychotic break he has afterwards, and I think that kind of makes a lot of sense. I mean, only kind of, but I think in terms of finding a structure to it, that's the thing that makes the most amount of sense. In terms of everything that's going on in the second half of the movie, I'm not too sure what's going on there. I still want to think about it a little bit more, I must say, but I thought that was a really kind of interesting way to structure it.
Yeah, I did too, and I was was it a psychotic break? Are we moving into parallel universes? There's lots of theories. This movie did not make money in the box office. It got
No.
terrible reviews. But it's become, like, the Rotten Tomato score keeps going up because more people are doing a rewatch like we're doing.
Yeah.
Making the millions of dollars that we're not making on their podcast. But yeah, it's definitely, as people are doing a rewatch, they're having big feelings and lots of questions about what he was actually doing and what he meant when he made it.
The thing, the thing that has really tripped me up is, and I'm going to mention it now. We've got other sections to do, but I want to talk about it because I think it'll be an interesting avenue to go down. So as I was watching this, I recognized one of the actors. Now he was a small part. He was in the scene basically with the prison warden. They were like trying to figure out what was going on exactly and how long this guy should be put away. One of the people in his office I recognized, and I was like, that can't be. So here's my question to you. Are you aware of a British sitcom called Allo Allo?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. I think there's any chance this had like got outside of the UK. Well, maybe got outside the UK a little bit, but not in any meaningful way. So there was this very successful sitcom in the kind of, I would say, must have been like 80s or 90s. I remember watching it as a kid. About a French cafe owner in occupied France, in occupied Paris, in the middle of World War II. So it was like a farcical comedy where basically this French cafe owner and his beleaguered wife, and he would kept trying to have sex with the waitresses. They were like, he was like this kind of like older, balding, fat guy, and the women could not get enough of him. But also there was the comedic German Nazi characters, and there was comedic there was comedic kind of British soldiers who were there kind of posing as French people and stuff like that, so they had even more bizarre accents. Wild shit. So this guy who was in Lost Highway played one of the kind of obviously very carefully and thoughtfully presented Nazi characters who was kind of a little bit effeminate. And I just was like, wow, that guy, somebody who seemed so entrenched in what Allo Allo, in that kind of universe, it was kind of really wild seeing them in a different context and seeing them in this film.
So was this Gene Ross?
No, this was, the actor I'm talking about is, Guy Sinner.
Okay, let me see. Prison Official #1, because there was another guy that played the warden. I'm just doing a quick,
You did a quick check there, but yeah, it's
Hello. Oh, I recognize him. He was in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, I think he was. Yeah, that's a good point.
The Curse of the Black Pearl.
Yeah.
Oh,
so yeah,
that's cool.
So,
I love that when you like put those things together, and you're like, oh. And he was in the movie short
so
Cluedo.
wild.
We were playing Cluedo last night, and I was like, they call it the wrong thing. It's Clue. Andy.
No, it's the right thing. And also he was in Leprechaun 4, Leprechaun in Space.
They went to space?
Right? He was cover himself
That's
in
what
glory.
we need
Okay, sorry,
more
that
of.
was a... that's just, we do. Sorry, that was a fairly massive...
For Hail Mary.
They did, yeah. Fairly massive tangent there, so we'll get back on track. So music was kind of a collaborative effort. It was primarily done by Angelo Badalamenti. Really interesting. I've got a lot of stuff here, so because I found going through his stuff and also like the stuff about the music for this movie really interesting. But he's a composer and arranger best known for his work with David Lynch, most notably with Twin Peaks. Again, the kind of opening music for Twin Peaks is very famous, I think, beyond the show itself even. That piece of music won him a Grammy. The music in Twin Peaks, in Lost Highway, I should say, really reminded me of Twin Peaks in a lot of ways, in that it was like, it has this like soap opera sort of quality, this like cheesy edge to it, but it has this kind of surreal, like almost sinister twist to it, which I think is such a hard thing to pull off, but I think he does it very well. So Lynch also worked with Trent Reznor for additional music pieces for the movie. And I think like the film just in general, on top of this compositional work, has an incredible soundtrack. I think I owned the soundtrack. I was trying to remember.
I feel like I did too. I think we all did. It was just like one of those things.
Because it was just it was just a really good soundtrack. It was like lots of great stuff on it, which included David Bowie, Rammstein, and Nine Inch Nails. Because the song, because as I was watching it, I was like, oh, The Perfect Drug by Nine Inch Nails is in this, and it was written for this film.
Was it?
But I don't think it's played in the film itself. I don't think. I was watching out for it, and I don't recall it actually being played.
I just remember being like, this is cool. I think there was definitely, I heard Marilyn Manson, and he had a cameo, Rolling Around on the Ground, as you do. Mm-hmm. It was interesting, just the music choices. It felt like it was, it's not a cyberpunk movie, but it definitely, like, musically it was, I guess, like, and we can talk a little bit about, like, what that means overall, because I know, like, I read somewhere, I can't remember if it's in my notes, but, like, he is very specific about the music that he chooses for his films. Mm. Everything must mean something. Everything, like, so even if it sounds like it shouldn't fit, there's a reason he put it in there. He's the boss. He's the boss.
I think there's something about the Discord stuff, like, because apparently the Trent Reznor, the stuff he worked on with Trent Reznor was the music that was used for the VCR sequences, the kind of unsettling, whenever the camera goes into their house and things like that. The last thing about Angelo Badalamenti was that, again, he had a compositional career outside of David Lynch's movies. One of the films he composed for was National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Which rocks.
That's amazing. Okay.
So, there you go.
Okay, so I have a fun fact for you guys about Trent Reznor. I don't know if I've... So sometimes you'll go to, like, a bar and they'll have, like, a heater in the corner and you're like, oh, that's nice. That feels yummy and warm. And if you look on it, it says Reznor. And that is Trent Reznor's family. They own this, like, basically, like, industrial heater business. But they're in every building in the United States, I swear to God. So anytime you guys are over here and you're looking at a heater, or you're in, like, like the garage, like the place, the auto shop that fixes your car, they've got, like, a Reznor heater. That's it. That's him. That's his family.
Because I think I remember reading something before how he comes from a fairly, like, rich family, and I guess that's it. Yeah.
Yep. So that's what it is. They make heaters. And then out of that, Trent Reznor was born. I just love it because it's just so weird. It's so weird. I can feel like his parents should be, like, from Carpathia or something.
Yeah, this is true. That makes sense.
Okay, so so a lot of people compare this to, like, French New Wave movies where it doesn't necessarily have to make sense. I don't know if you ever saw, like, the movie Blow Up.
Oh, yeah.
Which is kind of like, you didn't really know what was happening, and, like, it was, like, one of the first to do, like, four different movies happening on the same screen at the same time, and then the ending was, you were like, that's the ending, really? So this was kind of in that genre. I just love that he created his own genre now. But trying to figure out, what's believable. None of that matters with this movie. What does matter is I love it when I get to tie murder into anything ever, because I'm a basic white female. So Robert Blake was, he's an American actor. He's best known for the first true crime book that made so much money. Was called In Cold Blood. So he starred in the film In Cold Blood. He was also, there was, like, a TV show called Beretta. It was Helltown. And then he was the mystery man in this movie and Lost Highway. He was also so Quentin Tarantino's novel, or sorry, wait a minute. Okay, I don't know if this is true or not. Quentin Tarantino's novel, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, based on his film of the same name. So maybe he wrote a book about it. Okay. So it's dedicated to Robert Blake, which is interesting.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Brad Pitt's character in the film, Cliff Booth, is also based on him. But basically, Robert Blake was... he was arrested for potentially murdering his wife because he went out to dinner and someone shot her when she was in her car, and they thought it was him, but he actually was acquitted. Got off, never really worked again, because that'll happen. But there
was a documentary about him much later on, and he essentially admitted to it.
Yeah.
He basically he was mic'd up, and I can't remember the name of the documentary, but he was mic'd up and went to the bathroom and was all like, these fucking idiots, they'll believe anything I tell them, sort of thing. And it's like, Jesus, oh my God,
that might have been Robert Durst.
Oh, was it?
The
maybe?
Jinx,
okay.
Yeah, when he went in the bathroom and he's peeing and you can hear him peeing and he's like, what did they think happened? He's like, I killed them, or something along the lines of what happened? I killed them all. I killed them all, of course. So that's a documentary we have to watch. So let's add that to our pretend list. Okay, so anyways, so Robert Blake, man, I saw him and I had followed that whole trial and everything. So it was just interesting that was in there.
Yeah, no, that's
almost
yeah.
Robert Blake, the murderer.
Yeah,
and also there was a line in the movie that I liked was, how did you meet that asshole Andy anyway? And I was like, ha!
Yeah.
Burn!
That Andy guy was a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
And then I didn't write that down. I was like, does he have the worst facial hair ever committed to film? It's why it's so offensive is it would be really hard to do and maintain. It's like a very pencil thin moustache that goes all the way along the top of the lip, and then the tiniest soul patch you've ever seen. It's minute, and I'm like, that's awful, dude.
Yeah.
that's the absolute pitch.
The maintenance and the look just.
Oh, it's to what end? To be, I want to look at the creepiest motherfucker on the planet. You succeeded, my friend. It's awful. I think he is one of these guys, and I've seen him in films before. I can't remember the name of the actor off the top of my head. I will find it. Who he has a kind of he looks like a creep anyway. Michael Massey, but with that moustache and that friggin' soul patch, he just looked like the creep of all creeps.
Creepy creep. I'm also looking him up. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so so I wanted to talk. I was Patricia Arquette and the Arquette family. They're all famous. I don't know. I was like, where did they come from? How do you all become? So she came. I think they were in a cult. They call it a commune. So for a time, her family lived in a commune in rural Virginia. She said that they became poorer the longer they lived there, and she believes that that experience enlarged her empathy. She seems just like a cool chick. I love the way she doesn't overact. She underacts, and the way but she does it so well that she's so believable. I don't know. Her intonation, her cadence. I love it. I love watching her always. So her father was an alcoholic. Her mother was violently abusive. When Arquette was 7, they moved to Chicago. Poor thing had to go to Catholic school, so we all know how that that goes. And then she decided she wanted to be a nun at one point. At the age of 14, she ran away from home after learning her father was having an affair, and she settled with her sister, Rosanna Arquette, who was in Pulp Fiction, in Los Angeles. And then I guess her dad got into the business too during doing like films and commercials and voiceovers. He was on The Waltons, which was the show.
Wow.
Yeah, here. Before, yeah. So she wanted to be a nun, and then she wanted to be a midwife, and then she was like, I guess I'll be an actress. So yeah.
All right. Yep. Yeah, I think I remember reading something about, because like, well, sorry, I know Rosanna Arquette and David Arquette is also like famous / infamous. Yes. He has went like off the deep end.
Yes. He was like besties with Paul Rubens, who was Pee Wee Herman. So, mm-hmm. Which I love. Like, right. I just owe to be a fly on the wall and hang out with those guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but I thought in this role, I thought she did a great job, and she was playing like two different people, or they were the same person, but they had different wigs on, and she looked great in both. Black hair or blonde, Patricia looks fabulous.
Surely did. The thing I wrote as well was, this is quite early on, which was high heels in the house in the morning. Because I was like, well, that's a bold choice for your around the house wear, you know. But I get it. She's supposed to be like a femme fatale, you know. But like, it was an interesting one.
Even they wear pajamas that are comfy.
It's true. Why not? Why wouldn't you? I mean, so I know I was in, because like, and it was great because she really had a lot to do. I mean, she's probably the most important character in the movie, or characters perhaps, you know. So she had a lot to do, and it was kind of great seeing her having a lot to do, you know. But yeah.
I think that they all did a great, like, I was trying to pick, like, favorite actors, and, like, Balthazar Getty, I remember him from, like, was he in Lord of the Flies? He was in The Outsiders. Like, he had, I mean, when you're a Getty, you can probably do whatever you want, but I thought, even though he's a billionaire or whatever, I thought he did a really good job in this role. That's probably a very confusing role to do. All of them probably were confused.
He also had those 90s sideburns that I had as well, which was like a nice kind of throwback. I was like, I remember. Yeah. I remember the 90s sideburns. That comeback for sideburns.
Mutton chops.
Mutton chops, yeah. I did kind of like wonder what had happened to him, because when his name popped up, I was like, oh yeah, I haven't thought about that name in a long time.
Did you Google his face?
I did, and like I was like, oh yeah, but like it seems like he just went and did something.
I think he's
very different.
Yeah, like, I think he's like a DJ now or something.
Yeah, he's a musician. Yeah, and I think that was kind of what his interest was. I think more than anything, which is fair play to him.
Okay, so I have some facts. If you're ready to hear them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it, please.
The house in which Fred Madison Bill Pullman lives, along with most of the furniture, actually, belongs to and was designed by David Lynch. In his off time, he would also design and build houses, apparently. Wow. I made toast this morning, and I feel like that was enough for today.
There are some people who just like to be working in projects all the time.
I wish it was me.
I have nothing but respect. I think that like it's also people who like turn those sorts of things into your hobbies, whereas like I need to like completely disengage in my hobbies. I need to like completely remove me from the real world, so fair play to them.
Okay, so when asked as to the meaning of the film, David Lynch had referred to it as a psychogenic fugue. Sorry if I said that wrong. Form of disassociation where a person temporarily loses awareness of their identity, including their memories and their personality. Which, like,
okay,
I know it happens, and it must be so difficult to have that kind of brain where all of a sudden, like, you're someone else. And
yeah, it's and obviously through the kind of Lynchian sort of lens, because it's like such an interesting thing to explore, but it feels like there are elements of this movie as well that feel like, are they real? Are they just being observed by this one person, or are they character? What's exactly going on here? Which, I think is such an interesting way to look at something like that, like some sort of some sort of psychotic break, because, who knows how that actually manifests itself in terms of a person,
Yeah. And I wonder about that sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had one yet.
No.
Okay, so Siskel and Ebert, the film critics, gave the film a negative review on their show. David Lynch issued a new poster calling the thumbs down verdict 2 more reasons to see Lost Highway. As for his opinion, Siskel said, "I found it petty," which I like. Okay, petty. I know. So, not to be like Patricia Arquette is such a badass, but here's a story for you. So, she gave an interview in 2019. PBS does this thing called Actors on Actors. I don't know if you guys get...
Yes, okay. I'm aware of it.
So I don't remember who she was talking with, but she recalled doing one of her nude scenes in this film, and she admitted she chose to play characters more sexually confident than herself, including performing nude and sex scenes. Arquette added, I'm completely opposite in my personal life. I was born really modest. I don't want anyone to see me naked. When it came to time to film, she made sure the only crew members that were there were necessary. And she said, maybe this was inappropriate. Maybe I could get sued for this. But I told everyone, I'm going to take off my robe. If I turn around and I see you and I know you don't need to be on set, I'm going to come and I'm going to punch you in the face. All of a sudden, about 40 people went scattering into the desert.
Amazing. That rocks.
Right?
Good for her.
I know.
I mean, she looks incredible in this film.
I know.
Again, she's naked a lot, but she looks absolutely sensational.
Yeah, good job. And,
Yeah.
I'm also proud of those people that decided to listen to her words and get the fuck out of there while she was filming. I
think she probably, she talks the talk, she probably walks the walk, so she probably would punch them in the face, and she's smart.
I know.
So
Bill Pullman, speaking of saxophones, he actually was playing the saxophone in the scene in the nightclub, which is really intense and sweaty.
It is. That looks hard.
I know. So he did not know how to play before signing for the part. He only learned to play that particular solo, which was supposed to be improv jazz, which is my least favorite type of music ever.
Sure.
So I was like, of course it's improv jazz, but he did good. It was very sweaty and very realistic.
Yeah, it really did.
I was like, he is earning his keep playing the sax.
I think
to afford that to afford David Lynch's house.
That's true. I think it was a hard cut as well from them having a really kind of quiet scene, just this burst of jazz. You're like, whoa, okay, holy shit. It was a lot.
It's kind of like when you're watching Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome and Tina Turner whips out the saxophone and you're like, what? Yeah. And you're like, okay, she can't get any cooler either, which we need to watch that. Also, okay, last few things. Okay, so Robert Blake, not to keep talking, this has nothing to do with him murdering his wife. He told David Lynch that he was not going to give him a hard time about the script because Blake did not understand it at all. He also said he felt his character was the devil, which, and he cut his hair really short, he shaved his eyebrows, and he put kabuki, Japanese kabuki, white powdered face on, so he looked freaky as shit.
He does.
And yeah, I can see him as the devil. So, and yes, so so Bill Pullman, Fred's intense dislike of camcorders, and the reasoning is David Lynch's personal feelings about them. He hates camcorders. So do not mail his estate, because he's not alive anymore, camcorders, whatever you do.
Or camcorder footage,
And then the last one I have is the Entertainment Weekly ranked this film as the 23rd scariest movie of all time.
Oh, interesting.
I know. I was like, really?
I don't know that I would characterize it as a scary movie.
I wouldn't either.
I mean, it's unsettling, certainly, but yeah, that's an interesting place to put it in. Yeah. Okay.
So there's this basically the ending of the movie is like his character Bill Pullman wakes back up, and he like it's like Bill Pullman and Balthazar Getty are either in separate worlds or the same world, and it doesn't matter, but like they morph back into the same person at the end, and they're driving on the highway, and it's like you don't really see them, so it's almost like I'm like, is that where they get the idea for the substance, right? Kind of, because it's like that's kind of where my mind went. I'm like, they're turning into like the blob of a human, two humans, becoming one. Anyways,
I'm sure influential, like all the kind of body horror stuff in the substance, that would kind of make sense. All right, love it. Do you have anything else, or should we get into our final few sections?
How did you meet that asshole Andy anyway? Nope. Just generally,
he was a real piece of shit, but I guess he's rich, so therefore, doesn't matter. No. If he's a piece of shit, apparently that's what
I also was he the guy that fell forward and hit his head on the table and died with his head like impaled into the table, and I was like, that's a way to go.
Not wrong. Okay. Yeah. So, Tuesday to Fit, who had the best outfits in the movie? I think it's got to be Patricia Arquette, right? I mean, like nobody else even comes close to deserving it, like, because like basically the other guy dressed like a teenager, and Bill Pullman's dressed like an intense jazz guy, and I mean, like, it's fine and everything, but it's not notable enough to win any awards, in my opinion.
Agreed.
So Andy's Animal Acting Award for excellence in animal acting. I don't think there's any animals in this film.
I mean, not if you count Robert Blake,
Well, I mean, like, yeah. We can't give it to Robert Blake. I think, like, at one point, Patricia Arquette says meow meow.
Yeah.
And that's, like, as close as it gets.
Yeah, there were none.
Unfortunately, I'm just going to have to take the Animal Acting Award this week, which is what happens when there's no animals.
Or you could give it to someone that had the worst best facial hair.
No, I'm taking it.
Okay. It's you.
I need to fill out my award shelf somehow, Beth. Okay. So for Lost Highway, in terms of revisit, remember, refuse, or redo, what are your thoughts?
Don't hate me. Don't hate me, everyone. I said refuse.
It's okay.
I just kind of like... I get it. Like, I understand the importance of the film in the history of film. I understand the importance of David Lynch. I was super into Twin Peaks. I've seen a lot of his other stuff. But I just didn't feel like it was...
a lot of it's unpleasant.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. Yeah, I can totally understand that. I think I'm kind of like that. I think there's a lot of Lynch stuff that I really prefer.
Yeah, that's kind of how better. I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I think that I would watch over this. I think like I'm ultimately landing on Remember. I'm glad I revisited it. I don't think I'll revisit it again, but Remember as a kind of pivotal step for me into kind of more extreme or kind of obscure cinema, which was like, I think in terms of like my development as a fan of movies, it was important, but not something I'm going to like revisit a lot, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't feel like it changed my development of what movies I liked or didn't like. I just don't feel like it was like a critical movie for me, and rewatching it I was like, yeah. Take it or leave it.
No, I get you. I completely agree.
Sorry, everyone that doesn't agree. Yell at me in the comments.
They can disagree with this.
And I'll probably read them out loud on the
pod. So, Beth, what has been bringing you joy this week?
I watched Peaky Blinders: The Immortal Man finally.
Okay.
I know you're not a huge fan of Peaky Blinders.
I've not seen any Peaky Blinders. I just don't like. I don't like what it has become.
Yeah, it's okay. I get it. I know there's like a whole class of people that have decided that they're gonna like dress like Tommy Shelby or whatever, and walk around with their arms out because they're short and they want to look taller. But it was, what I appreciated was he filmed Oppenheimer, he got an Academy Award, and then he was like, yeah, I'm gonna go back to Tommy Shelby and smoking my cigarettes, and I just, I like the show. I think it's beautifully done. Like the family they kind of own like canal boats, and like it's stinky. There's pig shit everywhere. There's fire. There's just like garbage that they're kind of like shuffling around, and I'm like, I could live there. It looks fabulous. So but basically like we've had this routine where like Mike and I'll like put the kids to bed, and then we'll watch a show, and the dog will come up, and we all have like snuggles, and we make fun of the dog, and she's like, rub my tummy, and it's all warm. And we haven't had that we haven't been able to do that in, I don't know, like months. It's just been busy. He's been studying, so we got to just do that. And like Star, the dog, our dog was like, this is, you could tell, she's like, this is how it's supposed to be. This is what we do. Yeah. So it's like being able to give dogs, like, this is what we do is like one of my greatest joys. So it was good.
I love it.
Yeah.
I saw recently like a supercut of people who went in to ask for the Peaky Blinders haircut, and like basically the amount of people that do it, and it's just like, that looks fucking terrible. Yes. Your hair does not suit it. It's
I saw an interview with him, and he was like, they were like, what's the worst part about, is it smoking these herbal cigarettes? And he's like, no, it's the haircut. I hate the haircut. So
it's fair.
Yeah, he hates it too.
Okay, that's good to know.
Your Irish friend.
Even though I like, he's just the best. Like you said, because he still does occasionally like drops in and does like a couple of hours in Radio 6 playing music. He's just such an unpretentious, cool guy. Like Cillian Murphy just seems like the best.
I know.
Okay, so what's been bringing me joy? It's gonna be a bit naff, but I've got to say friendship has been. Just thinking about it recently. I'm very lucky to have so many wonderful friends, and it is constantly a source of kind of joy for me, and also just kind of like keeps me going, and like I think it's good to like be grateful for that every now and again. So
I love it.
So yeah,
I love it. So you're saying thank you to me, and I'm saying you're welcome.
Like you're reading between the lines.
Are we friends?
Okay.
You're welcome, Andy.
Thank you.
How to make this about me?
Yeah, it's me. Okay, so next week we are finishing off our Patricia Arquette season with bringing Out the Dead. Which is a Martin Scorsese movie, believe it or not, which I was like surprised about.
What?
So yeah, right. Yeah.
You lie. We'll have to.
Who knew?
I'll have to dig into this.
Who knew? So Beth, could you let everybody know where they can find us?
Yes, you can find us at movietestofTime.com. We're putting shorts back on YouTube. So yeah, you can chat with us on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. And if you've got movie recommendations that you would like us to watch with you and chat about, please send us that stuff. If you've got David Lynch stories or Robert Blake stories, like I'd like to hear more about that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Entertain us.
Please do.
Like and subscribe. But please do like and subscribe if you do get a chance, because we would like to make some bread and butter at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or not, whatever.
I mean, Okay. So we have reached the end of this week's episode, and as always, we like to say goodbye to our hallucinatory and warish fans. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. We love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.